What's happening, boys, and welcome to your Raw after Wrestlemania 42 review, and we're gonna get straight into it. This episode was alright, but anyways, we kicked off with the ruler, Obafemi, and oh my god, this guy has got the world in the palm of his hands. He's just soaking it all in. I think he was meant to do a promo, but instead he'd done the Roman Reigns one-liner. The ruler has arrived and mic dropped and the crowd went wild. So honestly, this man is the next big thing. I cannot wait to see what happens. But he just looked mesmerised by what he had achieved and how he looked very emotional. It looked like he didn't believe that he was there. But by God, Oba, believe you're there, because you are now the future of the company. And then we're on to the first match of the night, and it was the Kabuki Warriors versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley's entrance with that WWE Championship was pretty cool, I can't lie. So then we got into the match. And it was probably going to be the last time we see a Rhea Ripley on Raw for a pretty long time, as she's now SmackDown's champion. So I guess it's one of those ones where it was a farewell. But the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, I mean, they put on a decent match. It wasn't bad, it wasn't good. It was slap bang in the middle, nothing to write home about. But there was a absolutely terrifying spot during this match where Io Sky went for that suicide dive that recently she has really not been connecting with, and it's looked really bad for the last couple of attempts. This time she landed on her neck, and Jesus, I gasped when I seen that. I was like, oh my god. But luckily, she got up, finished the match with a nice sequence of a Rhea Ripley headbutt into an over-the-moon sault, which was pretty cool. Picking up the win for Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, which, I mean, it was expected. So I don't know where this feud's going to go now, because Rhea Ripley's going to SmackDown and Io's staying on Raw. And the Kabuki Warriors, are they just going to start battering Io because she's alone now, or is she going to get a new partner? I don't know. But we'll see where it goes. And then we went on to a backstage segment where Javon Evans and Penta were talking about how Javon Evans isn't going to give up and he's going to keep pursuing that IC Championship match. And then out of nowhere, Ethan Page makes his debut and is like, no, that your chance is done. I'm up next for the IC Championship, which I wouldn't mind seeing, but that got them into a big altercation of like, whoa, I think you can just jump to the front of the line. And then Adam Pearce was like, I've had enough of this. We're putting you in a match. I liked this segment. It was pretty cool. And we got the debut of Ethan Page, so I'm kind of excited for that one. If you watch NXT, you'll know a lot about Ethan Page and how good he is. And then we had a CM Punk promo, and he talked a lot about loss and how much he's lost recently, that being in real life and in WWE, such as actual people dying in his life. His dog died, Larry, RIP, and then he talked about losing his championship at Mania on Sunday. And he was like, that didn't really scratch the surface of what he's lost recently. But then he goes, who knows, it just wasn't his night and an opportunity could just fall out the sky. Then out of nowhere, Cody Rhodes' music hits and I'm like, what's going on here? So then Cody makes his way to the ring and they have a promo about what happened at Mania and Punk feeling like a loser but not looking like a loser, because Cody said he feels more like a loser and Punk's like, whoa, should I feel like one? Like, whoa, what do you mean? And it's pretty intense, and then it just kind of calms down. Punk's like, I'm not going to do anything essentially, and I'm like, alright, okay. But then it kind of heats up a little bit more, because Punk goes, he repeats the same line, he's like, you keep being champion and I'm just going to keep waiting for his championship opportunity. And he goes, you'll never know, might just fall out the sky, while looking at Cody's title. And we're like, ooh, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be a fiery one, because I thought we were going to get a match, but nothing materialised. Punk drops the mic, walks out the ring, and Cody goes, just tell me when. I was like, oh, we're getting something big at some point, maybe Backlash, maybe further down the road, SummerSlam, but I cannot wait for that. So I really did enjoy this segment. It was a little bit slow, but the climax was great. And then we had Javon Evans versus Ethan Page, and actually quite a good match, a good showcase of two young talents for the future. Ethan Page looked really good, and so did Javon Evans. I personally like Javon Evans a lot more just because he's, as they say, he's bouncy. He's like a high flyer, and I've always liked that type of wrestler. But the match was pretty solid up until the end part where Rusev got involved from the crowd of all places. He went for a swing on Javon Evans and he didn't actually connect or anything, but he caused enough of a distraction to cause Evans to lose the match to Ethan Page, which, I mean, I don't mind him losing because obviously he was at WrestleMania and it kind of protects him looking weak, taking a clean loss instead of an interference loss. So I didn't mind that. But then the match ends and Rusev's going all guns blazing. He's ready to take people out. So he basically locks the accolade in on Javon Evans and Ethan Page is having none of it. He just leaves the ring. He's like, you do you, I'ma leave. And then out of nowhere, Penta comes out and he attacks Rusev. And then Rusev gets the better of Penta, locks in the accolade after a bit of interference from Ethan Page. He knocked Penta off the top rope and caused him to go into the accolade. And then Ethan Page was going to step in the ring and he was like, you know what, no, I'm alright, and then left. Meanwhile, Rusev is absolutely dominating everyone in the ring. So I think this is where this championship feud might go to. We might have a triple threat between Javon Evans, Rusev and Penta. Actually, maybe even add Ethan Page in there. Fatal 4-Way would be cool at Backlash. That'd actually be a really cool match. I'd like to see that. But that might be where we're going. But at the end of the day, Rusev was standing tall with the IC Championship, and I didn't mind that at all because I do like Rusev. And then we had Liv Morgan's celebration of winning the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, it was an alright segment. It was just her thanking people and being like, yeah, the Judgment Day helped me, blah, blah, blah. That part I wasn't really bothered about. The next part was the good part. Sol Ruka made her debut, and I've seen a lot of people saying it was very Paige-esque, like coming out to face the champion on NXT talent and getting a match on the same night for the championship. But instead, this time, unfortunately, it wasn't for the championship. Would have been cool, but it just wasn't for the championship. But it was a great match nonetheless. The match was really good. Sol Ruka looked like $1,000,000. And by far my favourite spot of the match was Sol Ruka countering the Oblivion with a handspring type thing. Oh, it was such a sick counter. And then she hit her with a super kick, and I mean, it was a nasty super kick. It rocked her. And then obviously she went into the corner and she hit one of the best moves, or one of the best finishing moves in the industry, in my opinion. She hit the Soul Snatcher. It was unbelievable, and I thought she had the match won at this point. But unfortunately, Liv Morgan rolled out the ring, and I was like, God damn, I thought we had Sol Ruka winning on debut, but it didn't happen. But at that point, Sol Ruka had enough. She decided to hit a cartwheel backflip outside of the ring. It was nasty. It looked like a coup de grace from on Liv Morgan. It was pretty crazy. It wiped out Raquel and Roxanne, but out of nowhere, Zarya, her NXT rival, came out of nowhere, pushed her into the post, hit her a nasty spine buster, and cost her the match essentially because she nearly got counted out, and then she rolled back in and got hit with an Oblivion 1, 2, 3, and the match was over. A solid debut match. I don't blame her for losing to the world champion. It was a great showcase of what's to come, and if you haven't watched Sol Ruka before from NXT, oh my god, you are in for a treat. Liv goes up the ramp, she's ready to leave, and then out of nowhere, Stephanie Vaquer's music hits, and it looks like we're running this WrestleMania rivalry back. I'm assuming it's going to be at Backlash, but Liv looked like she had seen a ghost when she appeared. But genuinely, I cannot wait for the second match because, let's be honest, the WrestleMania match was a bit, it wasn't very good. But yeah, we are going to see with a little bit more time what this rivalry can bring, because I really enjoyed the rivalry, just the match was not given enough time to run. And then we had a Vision promo, just standard. Paul Heyman was very mad that the WWE guys or the production team messed up that Brock Lesnar was making an appearance tonight after retiring at WrestleMania. He was like, I don't know if that was like a shoot promo at the production team, but he was not happy. He's like, Brock is not the now, he's the forever. And I mean, fair enough. But let's get on to the actual promo where Seth Rollins interrupts Braun Breaker's return because he returns and he's like, I'm gonna break your Rollins. And he just didn't. He got hit with a steel chair, and it was a nasty chair shot. It was pretty unprotected, but Division overpowered Seth Rollins pretty easily. Logan Paul, Austin Fury beat up on him, And then, out of nowhere, the Street Profits come out. Is that a return? I'm pretty sure that's a return. But they take out the Vision. But then Braun just absolutely annihilates Seth Rollins with multiple spears. And he's like, I never needed you. But yeah, it was a pretty decent segment. I didn't mind it. We had a match between Finn Balor and JD McDonough, and honestly, it wasn't a bad match, but Finn Balor is back to his old self. He's got his old entrance. He's wearing trunks again. He's out of that cargo pants era. Thank God, that just was a bad time for Balor. You just knew he was a jobber at that point. But now we are back to old Balor, and hopefully this could ignite something in him again. I'd like to see that, but the match was alright. It started off with an audience fight, which was pretty cool. Balor gave JD absolutely no time to get in the ring, and they started brawling in the audience. But the overall match, it was alright. Not very memorable. It was pretty standard. But then Dominic Mysterio comes out after the match once Balor wins, and he attacks Balor, and I assume that feud's not over. Why is that feud not over? It should be over. But oh well. And then we had the main event of the night. We had Roman turn up in a car, and he's walking through the stadium, just backstage, and he bumps into the Usos in gorilla position, and they're like, well done, Us, blah blah blah. And then Roman's like, he's going to make his entrance, and he's like, come with me. So I'm assuming the old bloodline is back together, and then the music hits, the OG theme that felt like we were back in 2023, maybe the pandemic era up to 2024. Oh, it was unbelievable. But it looks like the bloodline has reunited. Then we have a little promo in the ring where Roman's like, I want you to be with me. I have missed these old times, and I'm like, I did too, Roman. And then the Usos like, yeah, they must have as well, because they throw the ones up and they're like, we're with you, essentially. And then out of nowhere, Fatu's music hits, and we're like, whoa. I'm like, this is the new rivalry. I'm like, I was expecting Oba, but like, Fatu versus Roman? Now that's something we haven't fully explored, and I wouldn't mind it. And then Fatu gets in the ring, and Roman's like, you're here for two reasons. You're either here to acknowledge me, or you want this, pointing at his World Heavyweight Championship. And Fatu's like, nah, I ain't acknowledging you. So Roman's like, okay, so you want this. And then he was like, he wants everything Roman has, which, fair play. Roman has a lot of shit. But yeah, I am excited for this feud. And Roman's like, he didn't know if he was ready yet, but he's like, I'm going to give you time to think on this. And then the episode ends. But overall, I'm really excited for this feud. I think it'll be good. And it seems like Roman is fully full-time again, which, woohoo, thank God, we are back to the old era. But this looks like it's happening at Backlash. So, yeah, that was the Raw episode. And that is it for this Raw after WrestleMania 42 review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed some of my points and my opinions. If you didn't, that's your opinion. Who cares? But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Root to, and I'm out.